Hey, what's going on, guys? CGOD back coming at you once more on this 2000 Mustang GT. So here it is. Previous video we just got our Magic Drift Aero. Nothing too fancy schmancy, right? Well, today, as you can tell by the title of the video, we're going to be rolling our Fenders because, as you can see, our tire here is not liking the current situation. So basically, you can see right here underneath the fender there, it is rolled out right there. I went through a dip in reverse, you know, like backing out of a spot, and I guess it flexed up, caught the tire, and like ripped the fender piece down. So we're gonna be fixing that, rolling it, and possibly lowering the car today, boys. Do got the Lolo out, so that's cool. Go ahead and show you guys old girl out here. Nothing too special, but you know, there it is. So first things first, we're going to go ahead and get her jacked up in the back, pull the wheels off, see about cleaning the inside of the fender well before we start, you know, heating it. And I actually got a fender roller we're going to be using, which is over here supporting some air hose right now. But yeah, I mean, it is there, you know what I mean? So that bolts onto the hub, and we're able to cleanly roll that edge, hopefully, and possibly be doing the front also. We'll just see how far we get today. If I can get the rear lowered and rolled, that'd be ideal, you know. Maybe next weekend do the front. I'm okay with that because the rear won't require an alignment, whereas the front will. So let's get right into it. I'm gonna get it jacked up, take the wheels off. I'll bring you back. All right, boys. So like I said, first things first, jacked her up, took the wheel off, went ahead and pulled the spacer too, just so that I know it'll bolt up normally because the studs kind of stick out from the spacer a little. I went ahead and beat that piece up with a hammer, the piece that I had gotten pulled out, and then I took a wire brush and just went ahead and cleaned the inside. Just make sure you don't got no debris in there or pieces that are sticking up, because once you start rolling the fender out, then it's gonna go ahead and like push whatever you have there into the fender out here. So now we basically got it. So what we're gonna do now is make sure the area is kind of clean. You know, probably wipe it down with some quick detail, some of the sort. And then we're gonna run an extension cord out here, hook up our fender roller. But I think this area here, which is basically like where the quarter panel and the bumper meet, you can see the bumper is secured down here. Hold on, I'm trying to make it to where it's visible for you guys. Yeah, so the bumper has a screw here holding it on, so we can actually just shave this whole thing kind of down, which is what I plan on doing. And then from there, that way we don't crease this, because this will become a nasty crease trying to roll it. So it'll basically be like cut right here and then just start rolling up fresh the whole rest of the way, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, boys. Yeet. Alright, boys, so now we got that backside shaved, all the debris cleaned out. It ended up working best running the spacer and the studs. That's basically what it's sitting on, because for some reason, like, this is like too inside. The hub is too far inside for it to like work ideally. So yeah, I've got this heat gun. I've already started heating it. So basically, you're gonna want to like heat it with one hand and then use the roller in the other hand and just keep adding heat. You don't want it so hot that like the paint boils or bubbles or anything like that, but you definitely want it warm. That way it gets a little bit more like pliable, malleable or whatever. So I'm gonna see if I can set you guys down so you can see what I'm talking about. Maybe. All right. Okay, so we got the lip real nice and warm. It's starting to roll up all the way throughout the fender. So now that we're rolling it upwards, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna back off our roller. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna change the direction of our roller wheel here to be something a little bit more like 90 degrees. And then we're also gonna have to lift it up, so there we go. So now we're gonna start applying tension again. Okay, got a good amount of tension. Now since it's already kind of warm, you can go ahead and just start hitting it. But for the most part, that's how you do that. And you're just going to keep adding tension every time. And it's going to continue to roll itself more and more flat. Until eventually it's flat enough to where you think your wheels will fit. And then you just send it. But we still got a lot of work ahead of us, brothers. So I'm going to go ahead and keep getting it tight and heating it, and we'll get it sent, brothers. Alright, so we got this side rolled, stand underneath of it, as well as this side. Might need just a tad bit, like some finishing work, you know what I mean? But we're setting it down right now on the stands because we need our rear axle to drop down. In order for us to be able to lower it. So, plan of action to be able to do that, our springs are already almost loose, so all we should have to do is just pull the bottom bolts on our shocks. More than likely that's all that's holding us up. And I also went ahead and painted my brake calipers black. I don't know if you guys caught that, but I mean, I didn't mask anything or anything, literally just sent it. Just because they looked kind of gross before. So yeah, we just remove those shocks and it should drop down enough to allow us to be able to grab our spring up out of there. And then we'll do some spring chopping, and then we should be good to go, boys. So let me do it. Alright, boys, so what we did is we went ahead and pulled our springs out. Undid the shocks, pulled the springs out, and yeah, this is about what it's sitting like, boys, which looks pretty killer, you know, with the spacer on. It's real fat out there. This one might need a little bit of hammer work, but I mean, it looks killer as heck, boys. That's essentially the goal. I don't know what it's sitting on right now, but it came up off the jacks, so I mean, there's not really a possibility of cutting the springs too much, I guess, you know, because that's all it goes anyways. And that's essentially what I want. And then the front also about the same. But yeah, damn, that looks sick. Look at that. Sheesh. Yeah, so the fenders, they didn't roll the greatest, but I mean, they are rolled now. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't think we can necessarily cut too much off of the springs. But here, I'll go ahead and show you those. Just out here walking around the car. So these are our rear springs. Not for sure what brand, but I was thinking of cutting them like right here. Think. So then it would just like, I'd be dropping at least like a ½ an inch. But see, these are lowering springs. They're not coilover, so I cannot lift it back up. So we're going to cut them in small increments and hope for the best. And I mean, like I said, this thing, I don't know if it has bump stops or what, but it's like bottoming out here. So I mean, you guys can think of that as you wish, but yeah, I mean, other than that, it looks pretty good. A little bit of hammer work, and this one should clear. Should no longer be gouging the tire on that other side. So there's that, you know. Should look legit. That's about the height that I want, though, honestly. Like, just get rid of the fender, or the wheel gap. This one, like, it's tucking maybe like the tiniest bit, but not too bad. So, like I said, we're gonna go ahead and get a cut on these springs. Get the springs nice and chopped, mate. If anything, we're gonna chop the springs real quick, put them back in, and then lift the car up again and see what it's sitting like. And yeah, we'll go from there. So, wish me luck. All right, boys. So we went ahead, took old girl on her maiden voyage. No more rubbing. Dropped at least a ½ an inch, you know, at least. So I mean, I guess y'all could tell me what you think. I think it sits pretty clean. This side, honestly, I think is sitting a tiny bit lower because we're like halfway in the dip, you know. But that is essentially the end goal. Maybe like an inch lower than that would be ideal. But yeah, we haven't even started on the fronts. So this side, as you can see, the roll came out pretty nice. It looks like the wheel fits in there real firme. This other side, I don't know if it's sitting a little bit higher, like I said, because we're in that dip, but it sits a little tiny bit higher. Ride quality, can definitely tell a difference. I don't know if it's stiffer or like bouncier. I don't really know. It's hard to tell. I don't necessarily hate it, so not too bad. If it does get really bad, then we're just gonna have to end up going coilovers on it. This side of the car is a little shaded, but yeah, look at them. We got the Ranfla out here today, boys. Damn, sick. So yeah, but other than that, everything else should be better. Our tire's not gonna be getting cut up anymore. You can kind of see how it fits, though. Fits pretty legitimate, if you ask me. Look at that. And that's with the 1-inch spacer. So this is indeed a 17 by 10.5, like -5, with a 275 40 17, boys. So this car can definitely stuff a wheel under it, which is cool. She does need a wash, but it's been raining a lot and snowing. It's all kinds of dumb stuff out here in Kansas, boys. But it's looking real mint. The next thing, like I said, is we're going to try and cut the front springs, possibly roll those fenders too, which it might not even need to roll, you know, just considering if the car doesn't even go that low. I need to figure out what's going on with the rear, because if it doesn't want to go any lower, then, you know, our mission is kind of canceled. I think it's either like maxing out the shocks, it's got a bump stopper, there's like this little like shock looking limiter, John, that's on the side. I'm not 100% sure, I'm not too much of a Mustang guy, but it's looking sick. That much I can tell you. So there's that, you know. And y'all know the interior, we got our shift extension, that Bluetooth stereo, not too much going on in here. But yeah, pretty killer. Job well done, boys. That is how you roll the fenders and cut your stock springs. So let me show you what we cut off. So as I had told you, we just did that one coil on each spring. Nothing too drastic. Like I said, literally took no more than like ½ an inch out because the other spring was sitting right here where my thumb is at. You know, so it couldn't have been nothing too crazy. But there's that. And that's the height. So not too shabby. You know what I mean? Drop a thumbs up down here, boys. Thumbs up. Because that thing's looking sick. We'll get the front done a little later because we're going to have to mess with the alignment and all that good stuff. So like I said, a little later. If it doesn't work out, then we are going to have to go coilovers. But just for a daily driver, I think it's turning out sick, boys. Hopefully get rid of our rub entirely, as well as make it look a lot cooler, because you know my shit gotta be slammed. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more on the Mustang, as well as all the other projects that we got going on, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Do this.